Busy agenda today, definitely for us. We are from Latvia, so we are following very closely what's going on with our discussion, of course, about Russia. And our core interests as the European Union, we need to set and define them. What we see is that, unfortunately, Russia will remain a long-term existential threat for all European Union. So our response must be determined and bold. We need to stay united. This is the first thing and first message. And we are seeing threats in the last days and weeks, direct threats from Russia towards Baltic states and not only Baltic states. And we don't see any other way how to strengthen our policies. So what we are doing is more sanctions, more economic pressure. Unfortunately, they are not ready and not willing to start real peace negotiations. So what we need to do is to push them towards peace negotiations. And if we are able to harm them economically, they would have no chance then to really start to talk about peace. So this is our perspective on that. Of course, Middle East adds some additional perspective towards our geopolitical challenges. And let's not forget that Iran is actually helping Russia to wage war against Ukraine. More than 50,000 Shahed drones were produced in Iran and then used to kill Ukrainian civilians and soldiers. So let's not forget that they are actually closely tied together, and one problem is closely linked to another problem. We actually have a chance to start on a different level, cooperating with the Gulf countries on energy efficiency, on renewables, on trade, of course, and politically. This is our chance to get these countries closer to us, and so we need to do all in our hands to actually use that. And last but not least, European defense strategy should reflect all of this and not only. We need to have more industry here in Europe. We need to be able to produce if we want to be safe and secure.
Minister, do you think that Special Envoy from the European side would help to push Russia to the negotiations?
Well, one very important thing, we must be at the negotiating table, because it's not only about war between Russia and Ukraine, it's about the peace in Europe in the long term. So this is first thing, we need to be there. It's hard to predict what exactly would help. Probably Special Envoy, probably someone who is not at the moment active in politics, but probably and most likely economic pressure. But we need to be able to provide options, and this is the main thing for us.
What do you think should be done to support Ukraine more? There is a lot of talks about giving them accession or opening clusters. Talks also about light memberships, and there is also talks about more equal support. What do you think about all these options?
Well, everything should be done, definitely. We are we should be straightforward and open all the negotiation clusters as soon as possible with Ukraine and Moldova. Let's not forget about that. And hopefully in June we'll do that. This is not only symbolic, this is a clear path towards the European Union, and accession to Europe and also closer cooperation to NATO is one of main security guarantees for Ukraine. Yes, there are discussions about different models, how we can move forward with the accession process. We are open to that, but the main thing is that those alternative models, they shouldn't undermine the main goal, that Ukraine should be part of the European Union. And of course, we are always asking our partners to do as much as they can. Latvia is spending more than 0.3% of our GDP just towards helping Ukraine. And it's quite a huge number, to be fair, but we also have a lot of partners who do equal, and this is always on the table, because the needs are always. We saw the winter was terrifying with all the attacks on energy infrastructure. It took a lot from us to try to help, and we sometimes don't have enough capacity as Europe. Sometimes we can't produce things enough. So that's why all these discussions about our independence are crucial, because if there is any other crisis and we cannot be sure that there is nothing else, we need to be sure that we can do on our own as much as we can.
What should the red lines be engaging?
Red lines. Well, red lines are definitely, if we talk from a perspective of the peace talks, for example, peace must be just and lasting. We will not agree to something that will just stop the war for a month or two, and then Russia can regroup and start the war again. So our red line is also forgetting all the crimes, what has been done. And that's why we have been invested so much in the establishment of tribunal against war crimes. So there are several on them. But the main thing is, yes, once again, I must reiterate, Russia is a real, imminent threat and long-lasting threat. And we can't forget it. We can't go back to business as usual.
And yet we're hearing more details of the US moving military assets out of Europe or planning to do so. Is Europe ready?
Well, we heard a lot of comments on that, but the latest development is that actually US is moving more troops in our region, which is to Poland. So, the debate on that is heated, and it probably will always be heated, but let's not listen to the comments or some, speculations. Let's see on the real things what's happening on. And we see that the results are actually quite the opposite. None of the less, we need to make sure that we have these capabilities also here, also in Europe, without our transatlantic partners, who are very important to us in the indispensable part of NATO. And this is why we are investing already 5% of our GDP towards defense. And we are building our capabilities, so we'll make sure that we are stronger on our own. You have the question.
Would you favor a non-active politician, especially EU envoy for Ukraine talks?
I think it's too early to discuss that. I think it's too early to discuss. We have our...
That's what you said before.
But that's true. That's true. We are not at the point where we're discussing names. We are discussing principles right now. And our first task is to make sure that we are actually on the table of negotiations. And then we'll discuss names. So, probably the last one.
Are you hopeful that you will have some decisions made today regarding either opening of clusters for Ukraine or sanctions?
Well, I'm not sure that we will come up with the exact decision, but we'll discuss both of that. And I'm hopeful that we'll get the feeling of support towards opening clusters in the room. There's some small technical work needed to be done, but, I think we would be ready to do it in June, hopefully.
Technical work on which of the two?
On opening the clusters. With the sanctions, we are moving on with the next sanctions package, and we want to see as much on the maritime service ban and the shadow fleet ban as possible. Thank you, and have a great day. We have a lot of colleagues.